Hey, welcome to the 492nd episode of Just Shoot It, a podcast about filmmaking, screenwriting, and directing. This episode is brought to you by patron Jack Powers, a filmmaker, not a superhero. I'm Matt Enlow.
And I'm Oren Kaplan, and today we are engagement farming. Matt and I have been making we've been doing this podcast for many hundreds of episodes for many years, and we just recently started putting these little tidbits on Instagram and TikTok.
And we're getting high off of it.
We're like, what if we did a whole episode where it's just a bunch of little tidbits?
What if it was good little snackable bites?
Yeah,
just thumb stopping, scroll stopping, arresting pieces of advice.
So this episode is good for Instagram, but who knows if it's good for like just listening on your Apple podcast.
Here's the truth, everyone. Our plan is to answer a bunch of interesting questions, all of which will be pertinent and valuable to you. Our hope is that we get through a bunch. I'm going to bet we get through like four. Yeah.
Well, let's see. If we do some really easy questions or even questions that we're probably not great at answering, maybe we can go through a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect most of my answers will be like, well,
I think the worse we are at answering them, the longer the answer will be.
Well, yes, we'll be covering our ass more.
We are
other ways to do this.
We are podcasters, Doctor.
We're literally just going to debate whether we can even pull off this episode for the next 45 minutes.
Well, let's jump into it. We asked the internet, hey, what are all of the questions you are dying to know? And we have a good number of questions, a lot of good stuff. So I think we're going to jump into it. But before we do that, two important things, starting with the most important.
Yes.
We have a party coming up October 8th.
I thought you were going to tell me you switched insurance carriers.
Yeah, you can save
Geico
20% by changing to Geico.
15% or more.
15, yeah, sure, whatever. I am up for some progressive ads. So,
really?
Yeah.
Ooh, cool.
I know. Knock on wood. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Anyway,
Flo said it's totally cool.
She was texting me about it. She was like, "It's fine. Just if you name drop the ads on the podcast, bring me up." Please.
What do you think? What percentage of our listeners do you think know who Flo is?
I don't know. Our listeners are a self-selecting group, so I'm gonna guess more. But
more
like
than nothing,
more more than your average bear. An above average amount of people will know who Flo is. However, I teach a commercials class, as I've mentioned many, many times on the show, young actors. And I talked to them the very first class about, these corporate mascots, the progressive people, Jake from State Farm, Captain Obvious, all of these people, all of these actors who've made very, very good livings thanks to commercials.
Becoming spokespersons.
Spokespeople. Yeah. And none of them know who I'm talking about. Yeah. And I'm talking progressive, like, they've had a commercial on every day,
Super Bowl.
Not just every Super Bowl, every day of these people's lives.
Right.
Geico and Progressive have aired a commercial every day that they are sentient.
For sure they know the Geico Gecko.
No, they don't. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, come on. Do they know Captain Crunch?
Maybe they know Captain Crunch. To be fair, a lot of them grew up in different countries and are coming here to learn to act and things like that. So I don't know what the marketing spend for Progressive would be internationally. Probably
zero.
And if it was meaningful, they probably have their own version of Flo or whomever. But yeah, so grain of salt there. But yeah, people don't pay attention to advertising. That's why our job is hard. Anyway, we are throwing a party.
Yes.
October 8th. It's going to be fun. It is free. People are throwing in donations. I really appreciate it. We're just trying to cover the cost of throwing the thing. You don't have to. If you go to events.justshootitpod.com, sign up just so we know you're coming, basically. A lot of cool people are going to be there. It's already going to be an excellent party, and we've only been talking about it for about a week. So I'm really excited. Keep your eyes peeled on Instagram.
What's the date again?
October 8th.
And where is it?
Lawless Brewing.
In what city?
North Hollywood, California.
Is North Hollywood a city?
It's part of LA County. Yeah, I think it's its own city.
Do you have a mayor?
We don't have a mayor.
Do you have a city hall?
We don't have a city hall.
Do you have your own police?
We don't.
It's not a city.
Not a city. Does West Hollywood have their own mayor?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, and they have their own police, but they are, I believe, part of LA. Or one of them. It's like Beverly Hills and West Hollywood.
West Hollywood, I think, is their own jurisdiction in certain ways, but maybe not always.
They have
I don't know what I'm talking about. The point is, Lawless Brewing, October 8th. Come hang out.
In North Hollywood.
North Hollywood.
I think I've heard a couple people say, like, why is it in North Hollywood?
Who said that?
Carlin.
Well, Carlin, I know where you live.
It's not that far from North Hollywood.
It's not that far. Honestly, that's a very good reason why it's in North Hollywood. North Hollywood was surprisingly convenient for people. You're like, oh, it took me no time at all.
Yeah, you just drive to Hollywood, then go up a few more feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, we really hope you can come. I think it'll be fun. So events.justshootapod.com. You should check it out. If you want to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/justshootapod. It's also a place you can support us. But yeah, let's get into the meat of this episode since it's a weird one.
Let's talk to the internet about these questions.
Okay. Can I ask you the first question that the internet wants to answer? So Matt, what's the one piece of gear most beginners buy that they don't need?
I have an easy answer for it. It's going to be unpopular.
Final draft.
A gimbal.
Oh, yes. A gimbal.
A gimbal. Yeah. They're really cool. I get it. And if you have the money to afford a gimbal and all of the other kit that you need, sure, go for it. I'm not saying gimbals are bad, but I think that I've seen people prioritize fluid camera movement over lighting or even like lunch for a crew or better props or better costumes. All of the other stuff is more important. Like we had decades of incredible cinema before the Steadicam was invented. It's relatively new. And like no French New Wave motherfucker needed a gimbal. You don't either.
Okay, so if you just have a video camera, how do you move it without a gimbal?
Handheld. Now they're so light. You hold it like you and I do when we're photographing our kids in home movies. Internal stabilization is incredible. A little bit of camera shake is great. Lean into that. Let that be your style. Don't worry about fluidity. If you're shooting a wedding video, sure, go ahead and get those sweeping shots and parallax of people fly down the aisles, all that stuff. But if you want to make movies, a gimbal should be lower on your priority list than I have seen people. You do not need a gimbal to make a great movie.
Yeah.
And most great filmmakers didn't have the equivalent when they were starting out or during their careers for a long time.
Right.
If you have a gimbal and you don't have a tripod, you are doing something wrong.
Yes. Agreed. Get the tripod first, then the gimbal. Or don't get the gimbal. I own a Ronin RS2. I've used it 5 times total.
Same.
Probably all within the first week of me buying them.
Yep.
And I brought it on a job once and I literally just could not get the shots to look good with it. So I just stopped using it.
Yeah. Okay, Oren, what is the best $100 you can spend on your filmmaking kit?
Well, something that I find myself looking for often, like when I'm taking a photo, like I'm at a family event, someone's like, Oren, take a photo or video or do this, or I'm on set and trying to frame something up and I just need like a little bit more light, or I just need to block some light, or I just need to shape light in some way. I find that just having like a big white rectangular thing is incredibly useful. And so,
do you mean diffusion or bounce?
Well, in a perfect world, I guess if I could get one thing for $100, you could probably get used. You could easily get a C stand, like a 2 foot by 3 foot solid, like a black thing, 2 by 3 foot bounce, and then a 2 by 3 foot diffusion, a piece of like a white diffusion.
I think you might be stretching that $100 a little too far, but
no, go with it. Yeah, but you could
plus shipping fees if you don't live in a major market.
Yeah, I mean Amazon, you can buy that stuff. Like you get the newer version.
Sure,
but I think if I only had one of those, it would be the white diffusion that also works as a bounce. But I would get like those 5-in-1 photo reflector things,
which you can definitely get a big one for like $30-$50, something like that.
Yeah. But so the key is to get that plus a stand that can hold it.
You can do that for $100 for sure.
Because then if it's just you by yourself, just you and an actor, I mean, yeah, literally, because once you have the diffusion, you can put it just like next to the worst light bulb in the world, right? Once you have a bounce, you just put somebody next to a window and you can use the bounce to fill light, and you can be outdoors and you can create shade. You can, do all that stuff. So to me, like that $100 is better than buying like one aperture light or something, because like shaping light to me is more important than creating light.
That's right. That's great advice.
Well, okay. So Matt, on to our next question. Is it even interesting anymore?
I don't think so.
Okay. So Matt, question for you. What's the cheapest lens hack that makes your footage instantly better?
Yeah, I've got a really good answer for this. The number one best way to make your lens look better is to light, because most of the time the lens isn't the issue. It's what you're putting in front of the lens. So to your previous screed about shaping light, bouncing light, controlling light, I think that boils down to photography as well. I love to shoot with toy lenses. Like plastic shitty lenses are so fun and have so much character.
When is the last time you did that for a job that had any sort of budget?
Never for a job.
Okay.
But for my own use, all the time. I told you I bought a new one a couple months ago and I had a blast with it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a very specialized lens.
Yeah. Like when was the last time I was on a job where I didn't get to pick lenses? Counterpoint. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess just to play devil's advocate, which I love to do with you. How is lighting a shot? How is that a hack? It doesn't sound like a.
Yeah. What I'm getting at is that oftentimes people are asking the wrong question, and I'm being a little glib about the note within the note. Right. The cheapest lens hack that makes your footage instantly look better is a misdirected question. The question you're trying to ask is, how do I make my images look good? Right. And that's by sculpting light, considering composition, etc. And that there's an overemphasis on gear, generally speaking. And that if you focus on craft and resourcefulness, you will get better results. You cannot buy your way into being a great filmmaker.
I have an interesting answer too, I think.
Yeah.
That is a little specific, but I think that so many people, especially when they're starting out, just want to shoot at the shallowest depth of field. A 2.8, a 2, a 1.5. I just did a shoot and I asked my DP, I was like, what stop are we? Like nothing's in focus. It's like a 1.5. I'm like, okay. Can we shoot at like a 4, 5, 6? Yeah. If you're shooting anything other than, I don't know, a human or something in a wide shot, like a lot of great movies are shot at like a 4, 5, 6, 8 even.
Most.
And if you are shooting any product, anything you want to read something, anytime you're doing like a real close up and you want someone's eyes and nose and ears to be sharp, shoot at a 4. When I shoot my wife's auditions, I'll try to shoot at like a 4, 5, 6 split because she's sharp. She's in focus, and it's So to me, that's like one misconception is that you should always shoot as shallow as possible. Everyone's just like talking about ND filters and like just cutting down the light as much as possible so you can get your shutter speed and your f-stop or t-stop to be right. But I think shoot some sharp if you want things to look sharp and good.
Yeah.
You don't have to go wide open all the time.
You know who agrees with you? Steven Spielberg.
Oh, yeah. Did he?
He was like, hey, Oren, you should check the Instagram messages more, Oren.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. I think you might have a quick answer to this one. Matt, what's a secret to writing dialogue that feels real?
Yeah, my secret to writing dialogue that feels real is I want you to read it out loud. Not just like take your time and read it in your head. I literally want you to say the words out loud, verbalizing them, I think is the best writing tool that people tend to overlook or tend to just like, for whatever reason, embarrassment, lack of, whatever, they just don't do it. It is the ultimate way to hear your words and immediately you become both the audience and the actor simultaneously, and you can feel all of those rough edges and sand them off immediately.
Yeah. And to build on that, and this is stupid, but I've done it in the past, just like literally try to say that dialogue that you wrote out loud to someone.
Oh, sure.
In your life. Yeah. Like I'll randomly say things to my wife. I'll be like, hey, did you know you can save 15% or more by switching to Geico?
Sure,
and then she'll be like, wow, that sounded really authentic. No, but it is sometimes worth to just like, I literally try to say things out loud just to see if people believe me that I mean that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're like, what the hell are you talking about? They're like, does that not sound like something someone would say? And they're like, not really.
Oftentimes in filmmaking, we're operating in realms that are a little more heightened. So authentic is maybe not necessarily like the most operative word in my mind, but like, whether you're being writerly or coy or staccato or screwball or whatever you're aiming for, hearing it out loud will help you do that. You may not always, if you said the lines from Some Like It Hot in conversation to someone, you wouldn't sound like a normal person, even though that's some of the best dialogue ever written. You know what I mean? Like, so authentic is maybe, again, something that we don't necessarily need to put a premium on.
Yeah. I hate authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
So 2023.
Yeah. Whatever works. No, fuck. Nobody's perfect. That's a Some Like It Hot reference.
Oh.
Yeah. That was the original title of the movie.
Great.
It's a great line. It's a great line.
Ender to our.
We'll cut all that out. Do you know Some Like It Hot?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
The movie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember at the end, the guy is like in love with Jack Lemmon and then finds out that he's a man. And he goes, nobody's perfect.
Yeah. I vaguely remember it. I last saw it probably about 30 years ago.
Just a perfect button. Just the best button ever.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, here we go. This is an Oren special. This is good. Oren, what's the most stressful part of directing and how do you handle it?
To me, the most stressful part of directing is that if anything is bad, it's your fault, regardless of whether it's your fault.
Whether you told them so, whether you warned people, whether you tried to fix it a bunch of different ways and people were obstinate about it, or whether it was your idea, you know?
Yeah. So when things are not going well and you're on set and everybody's looking at you to figure it out, it's kind of all on your shoulders. And if you're in post and you realize what you shot isn't good, again, it's like all on your shoulders. You can't say, oh, the cinematographer messed up or the actor wasn't good or the budget wasn't there. I mean, you can say all those things. You can find things to blame, but it's still the directing was bad because really your job as a director is to make sure
to
everyone
hire the right cinematographer or
is making the best thing.
Yeah. Which I also I find empowering as well, because then once you know that 100% of the accountability is on your shoulders, you are forced to act on that, right? I think sometimes it's easy to kind of cower behind some decisions that were sort of maybe out of your control or that you were sidestepped on. And so like, you know, as people who work on sets where there's oftentimes a lot of stakeholders who can overrule you, it can be really frustrating to be held accountable for someone else's decision that you didn't agree with. But that's part of the job. And ultimately, if you just surrender to that, you can still do your best to make it awesome.
Yeah. I think the way I handle it is, I guess you could call it surrendering to it. But to me, it's just being overtly honest with the people I'm working with and with myself. Like, hey, I made this decision because of this reason, and now I see it's not working. So can you guys help me figure out
how to fix it? Yeah, I think that's great. I think also, this is a truth that I think you and I are both painfully aware of. However, it doesn't always make us feel better. You can try your hardest and you can do a great job, and the piece can still not be something that you or I think is very good. And there were instances where like you maybe don't feel like you did your best work and then it turns out awesome. And so knowing that like the only thing you can do is try your hardest and like you don't totally have control over it being special in particular, you know, maybe there's a little grace in that.
Yeah. And also I try to not look at any one project as overly precious. I simultaneously try to push as hard as humanly possible to make something as good as I think it could potentially be. But if it's not the best thing I've ever made, I just look towards the next project.
And that's how you find peace, right? If you know you left it all on the field, then you don't have regrets whether it ends up being the result that you were hoping for or not.
Yeah. And honestly, that is what's hard about feature films is that you're spending 1 to 10 years on them. Yeah. So
no one's spending 1 year. The 3 is the short runtime. You know what I mean?
My second feature was definitely less.
Okay, sure.
But there's a nice thing about short form projects where if they're not as great as you imagine they would be, you can move on to the next one. And with features, sometimes you've blown like every lead, every financing opportunity, every favor you possibly could have on a feature. And you're like, finish shooting it halfway through the edit, 14 festival rejections in, and you realize this movie's not that good.
It wasn't the one. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard to continue, but you just have to move on, and maybe you can use that footage and repurpose it and do something, making a sick trailer that gets you your next movie. So that's to me the most stressful part of directing, of being the buck stops here person. Matt, what does a director actually do on set?
That's a great question. By the time you're on set, hopefully not as much as you'd think, right? Unfortunately, I think you and I are both quite busy on set all the time. But up until the time that we're actually rolling, we've worked super hard to communicate the game plan and the vision to all of your department heads, all the people leading their own small teams through the craft of filmmaking, right? And so by the time you're there and the first shot is up, everyone should kind of know their marks and their places. And then when you're on set, it's about course correction. It's about like seeing it come to life and fixing it relative to your taste, certainly, but also the overall vision and taste of the project, right? So whether you think is something is good should be calibrated relative to the goals, the artistic goals of the piece you're making.
Yeah, it's funny. You hear so many interviews with directors where the director says, I like to get to set an hour early before anyone else is there. I like to walk around the set and just kind of see it and feel it. And
I thought
picture
it's because
shots in
you
my
wanted
head.
the best breakfast burrito. That's
You
why
get the best breakfast burrito.
that's why I get there an hour early. It's just so I can maybe do a double, like do both, hit it twice.
Yeah, no, that is probably something you would say.
Yeah.
But, I feel like you hear it more often with newer directors, people that have recently found success. They're just, their indie film just won Sundance or something. But I wonder if Steven Spielberg,
Walks
gets
the
to set an hour and a half before everyone else. I wonder if Mike White, who's directing every episode of White Lotus, gets to set an hour before everyone else.
Also, an hour and a half before everyone else is pretty darn early.
Yeah. I wonder if Dave Meyers, prolific music video and commercial director, gets to set an hour before everyone else. My suspicion is that they don't. And it's because of what you just said, is that by the time we get to set, especially on a commercial or something that is fully storyboarded and fully planned out and pre-vised and all that stuff, you would hope that if we weren't even on set, the first shot can be more or less set up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Hair and makeup knows what they're doing. Wardrobe knows what they're doing. Cinematographer knows what they're doing. The lighting team, the producers, everyone is putting the camera in the right place.
If either of us got food poisoning, I think you and I both know a handful of people we could call and feel pretty confident that they would be able to pull off what we were aiming for based off of our notes and everything else, or that the DP and the producer could just tag team it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's not about we're not needed on set, but something that I used to do is I'd try to be the first person on set when I was starting out. Now, if the call time is at 7 and I know the first shot's not up till 9, I just had to shoot 3 solid days. Our call time was 7, first shot up at 9. And my wife was out of town and I had no way really to get my kids to school. So I was like, hey, dropping them off at 8. I'm going to be on set by 8:20, an hour and 20 minutes after the call time, but 40 minutes before the shoot time.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect.
And I expect the shot to be ready for me to look at when I get to set because I've already literally shown you the shot on my phone. We've talked about where the lighting is. The actors approved that, they're going to be going through hair and makeup. All this, people are taking things on and off the trucks. I don't need to be there for that stuff.
Yeah.
So yes, I will miss that breakfast burrito that you mentioned previously, but what's the advantage for the crew that I'm there that late is that A, I'm not stressed out about my kids, my family and the babysitter and all that stuff. B, I get a normal amount of sleep, which for me is, 5.5 hours. And I'm excited and ready. I have my coffee, all that stuff, which if I got to set half an hour before everyone else, I would probably just be a mess, because
the
rest of my life would be in shambles.
Worse than that, not only would you be a mess, but you would be bringing all of that to people who need that time themselves. You know who does need an hour before call time? Hair and makeup, production. There are people who have things that they need to do to just kind of set up to be ready to receive you, to ready to know, hey, they're in their zone. They have questions. They've had a little bit of time to chit chat with one another, talk to talent, get the lay of the land, reorient themselves, all that stuff. So if you get there too early, you short circuit all of that, both pleasantries and practical stuff that has to happen, right? I can't tell you how many times I would be to a producer or an AD, hey, are they going to put this thing there? And as they're doing it, because I was there too early, just go get a second breakfast burrito, dude.
Yeah. And if there's an issue, if like a shot's not working out, location is closed, an actor didn't show up, something, they can call you and you can talk through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of my theory on prep, basically, is most of what the director is doing. But on set, to me, it's you are the arbiter. You're mainly blocking, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying, okay, let's move the camera to the right a little bit. Let's start the camera move when this actor walks in. Hey, walk in a little bit faster, turn over here. What if you land over here, pick up this dish? Let's try to do it a faster version,
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to do one that's like a little, with a little pizzazz. You're trying to impress everyone, whatever, like directing actors a little bit, and mainly for the sake of moving them in a different way. And then also saying, okay, we got it. Let's move on.
Yeah,
I think that's 90% of what we're doing on set.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
choreographing the crew and the cast and deciding when it's time to move on.
It's funny because I think that speaks to your preoccupation with blocking right now. Like, you love to move the camera. You've got a lot of people talking to camera and zipping through and across and then a handoff and da, da, da. So I think that that is true, but I'm going to go into a shoot soon where basically the camera's locked off and we're going to alt it a ton. We're going to live mostly in performance because there's nothing else happening.
So
and
what is your job there?
My job is to set, that's a great question. My job is to set a tone where the actors and the rest of the crew, but mostly the actors, are aware that we can experiment with the material and play with it to find the most exciting version of what our script has to offer, and create a safe space where agency and producers and clients and ADs aren't breathing down our necks because they don't understand what's going on or why we're doing the things we're doing.
Right. So the blocking there, I would say, is like, oh, what if you do a double take after you say that?
Sure.
Or like you give us a little awkward pause when you realize that this is uncomfortable. And it's
that's directing, not physically blocking, right?
Yeah. Or saying to the camera person, like, ooh, like, let's go a little tighter on the,
Yeah. Yeah.
Or,
we're saying the same thing. It's just vernacular.
So that, and then but you are also, I guess I was saying the second half of what I think of directing is deciding when
that we have got it.
Yeah, that we've got it or that we need to change it. And that's, to me, like your alt,
Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, otherwise it's just, like you said, eating a lot of burritos. Cool.
What's one thing that always goes wrong on shoots?
It's a super obvious answer, but what goes wrong on every single shoot is that you run out of time and you are a few hours late by lunch, and then you have to start speeding through everything after lunch. And by the way, when you're not running late, or if you're running early, God forbid, that's also something's going wrong.
Yeah.
It means you planned the day incorrectly. Your what you wanted wasn't ambitious enough. You hired too much crew for what you needed, or you're not using your resources to the most capacity. So, because I think you and I come from the mindset of, we have a camera, we have a crew, we have people on camera, and we have a location. Like, what is the maximum amount of stuff we can get out of this? And the other, I just did a job with Sawhorse, a commercial, and usually we would shoot 2 a day of this specific brand, and they only wanted us to shoot 1. And I was like, as a director, I'm like, well, why don't we shoot a second one? That this is not enough work for 1 day. Of course, we ended up going 2 hours overtime. But to me, like, finishing 2 hours early, we've all done it before, and it's not like, oh, yay, we finished early. It's a weird feeling.
On longer shoots, finishing early is okay.
If you're shooting for 30 days and you have an easy day, and everyone gets to rest because there's more days coming,
different deal.
Then that's nice. But that's where you're kind of loading up karma for other days.
I think the one thing that always goes wrong on shoots is the specialty shot, the shot we're excited for.
Oh, yes.
Right. So whether that's a drone shot, underwater, I'm always like, oh, let's put a GoPro underwater and we'll crop it and it'll look great and all that stuff. Monitoring's always a pain, all that stuff. Oh, you can't get the drone up into the air because of a surprise, there's some sort of jurisdiction or issue with it, or you just shot with, what do you call it?
Skater scope.
Thank you.
Did I tell you that story?
You did. I think you told it on the show, but you were trying to shoot with a skater scope, shot with it, it would have just taken more time to finesse. You could have gotten there and it would have been cool.
Well, I have an update to that story.
Oh, tell me more.
So the skater scope is a special device you can put between your lens and your camera that lets you rotate the lens internally. It's with these mirrors or prisms or something. So you can do these spinning shots. And we have a shot of a product that happens to be in the shape of a cylinder. And I wanted our actress to roll that cylinder on the table and the camera to rotate with it as it's going down the table. And we knew that it would take, it's a manual thing. You have to rotate it with like your thumb. So we knew it would take like a few practice runs to get the rotation to match the speed. And we did it once. It was pretty bad. Second time, a little better. Third time, getting better. And then the notes started coming in. Can we just do a version where we're not spinning the camera? Can we do a version where we're not spinning? I was like, sure. Did a couple versions without spinning the camera. And I was like, let's see if we can get it. Did fourth time, fifth time, sixth time. Finally, we got one that felt pretty good. But I felt like there was so many requests of not spinning the camera because they kept seeing these imperfect takes. And they were already not so jazzed about having the spinning take in the first place on a product.
You're like, what do you mean? We could do this in post and undo it if we want to. Yeah.
Yeah. That I felt like there's no way it would make it in that edit. And now we had a whole edit session today. Yeah. By far the best shot. And my biggest regret is not doing it like on 10 other shots.
10 more times. Oh, interesting.
I'm like, I wish the entire vibe of the video was the vibe of this
had
shot.
This kineticism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That makes complete sense. That like the shot that you cut is also the best shot of the day. Makes complete sense.
So get your specialty shots as much as people hate you, as much as people say they're not
about
work.
The time, all that stuff.
And guess what? If they're not good, who cares? You tried. It's better than not trying anything interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You know what's a bummer? Standard coverage.
Yeah.
Hose it down.
Well, Matt, when you are having long shoot days, we just talked about, is there anything you do to motivate the crew?
I do. I have a move that comes from my indie film days, my old web series days.
Is it called Magic Mind?
It's called the special treat. The special treat comes after lunch, before wrap. It's not pop brownies, but it's a little something. Sometimes it's a smoothie if it's hot, or it like will do.
Wait, but you're saying this like as if this is something that you have your hands in.
Well, when I was an indie filmmaker, absolutely, I did. And
now you would like call Baskin Robbins and say, send an ice cream cake down.
No, dude, I'd go to Trader Joe's.
In the middle of a shoot?
No, like the night before a shoot, and I'd buy 2 bags of like the deep fried macaroni balls. And I'd be like, here, producer, at 7 p.m. tonight, I need you to make these.
You'll be shocked to know that I have no clue what these deep fried macaroni balls are.
What? Are you serious?
From Trader Joe's, they have deep fried macaroni balls?
Yeah, I mean, I assume like, or Costco or wherever. There's, you've had like fried macaroni before, right?
Yeah, but not from Trader Joe's.
I'm not calling out specifically Trader Joe's. Is
sorry,
really good. But the point is that it's not meant to be a big meal, and especially in my early days, we would call it the special treat in front of everyone. Like, oh, it's special treat time, and it was explicitly a way for us to be thoughtful and to show people like, hey, we care about you. We want to give you something. We are aware that it's hard right now, and this is going to put a pep in your step. Yeah, this is like hey, I love you, thank you. And it was always kind of like cheap. We go to Jamba Juice and get like 5 Jamba Juices and split it up into little Dixie cups. So everyone got one. Yeah, and I think that like Oren, you were teasing me about like nowadays it's a lot harder for us to be responsible for the special treat, but you can make sure that your production team is hiring people who understand the philosophy and vibe and the ethos that you're trying to put out there. I hate it when we will do a coffee run that is only for like agency and actors, and the rest of the crew is just like
not getting
anything. Look, the reality is it's hard to pass around a bunch of copies to every single person.
A coffee order for like 80 people.
80 people, yeah. And also camera department now, they're just like,
they just get their own copies.
They're just getting their own. You're like, hey man, I spent 20 years fighting for you guys to get a cold brew too. Nice cold float.
They'll get it. They'll get one for you if you ask for it.
Yeah, but then you're a jerk. But yeah, so I try to make sure that like, things are equitable and that you show people respect, and that's a big part of it. Whether you can literally, air fry some macaroni balls or not, it's going to be different for each set. But hiring people who you know are going to take care of your crew, that's something you can be a part of.
I have like an ancillary question related to this topic. You and I think probably for the last 5 to 10 years, if our days run long, then our crews are getting paid overtime. So
sure,
they're not necessarily so bummed that the day is long, right? It's not like a music video day where you're getting $100 no matter if it's 9 hours or 19 hours.
There is a threshold. There is like, oh, I just want to go home. I'm tired. I have another job tomorrow or whatever. And then you get past that every once in a while into like, no, you guys keep me as long as you want, like.
Right. But yeah, I think days running long is weird. I try to be really cognizant of like, hey, don't call in these background actors at 7 a.m. when we know there's no chance we'll get to their scene until 1 p.m. Like, why are we just having them sit around? And that's actually something that was weird about Thailand. They would call actors in for a fitting. They call background actors in for a fitting, and they would just have them stay there for like 8 hours, Yeah. And I'd be like, why don't we let them go? They're like, well, just in case you want to change anything, agency's going to come in an hour. We got to show them. Client's going to come an hour after that. Like this is not cool. They're like, well, we're paying them to be here.
Yep.
Like, okay, just seems it. I just don't like wasting people's time personally. But my related question to you, and something that I've run into recently, I work with a variety of cinematographers and production designers and crew members. And the cinematographer is largely in charge of the camera department, the grip department, and the lighting department. The production designer is also in charge of a lot of things that are important to happen on set. What do you do when you feel like you're in a rush? You're 2 hours late. You have all these shots, you have to get all these things you have to block, all these things you have to figure out. And the crew is just working. You're like 10 hours in and the crew is just working. Like no one's in a hurry. Have you ever had that?
Yeah, 100%. There's a couple things.
And the reason I mentioned that I work with a lot of new cinematographers and stuff is because if it's someone you worked with for 10 years, you'd be like, hey, dude, can your crew work faster? Like, what's going on here? Guys, everyone hop to it,
Yeah. So that was the first thing, is that I give you a hard time about working with new DPs. And the shorthand is twofold. One, it's like, you can be like, hey, you remember when we went and saw that movie? You remember the shot from that part? Can we try that? If you haven't rolled with them like that, you don't have that shorthand, right? Or like, whatever, a common language. But also you can't be like, hey dude, what's going on?
Yeah.
In quite the same way. So I think there's that. I have, in moments of desperation, and I'm not I don't think this is the right move, but I've started doing stuff myself.
I do that all the time, especially art department. I'm not going to wait for someone to come like get another art PA from the truck when I can help someone move a table 2 inches.
Without a doubt. Yeah. So, okay. So this is an important differentiation though. There's a difference between like, hey, let's just scoot this table 2 inches together. I got you, buddy. Right. Let's just do it together. You're helping them out. You're not showing anyone up. There's no flex there or anything like that. There is a threshold that one could cross where there's a little bit more of an attitude of like, well, you're not getting it done and I need to make this day. So I'm going to move this table myself. I don't have time to wait. And that is not the best vibe for sure. It's been
You're saying you've done that before?
Yeah. Probably 10 years ago, longer. But that's the point of no return. That's like, okay, like I get it. Let's go. And that's after a lot of kind of direct, like, hey guys, we need to hustle. I'll also sometimes, I will project. I don't yell at people. I will speak loudly to a group. I will project for sure. And I will be like, hey guys, listen up. And I'll explain like, we only have X amount of time to get this done. Let's all keep things working quiet. This is what's happening. Here's what we need to do in order to achieve that objective. Let's get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if you have an AD, I will say I try to work with the same AD as much as I can. And he is someone I can say like, hey, Kevin, we gotta hurry. Like, I don't know, and I will try to talk to a cinematographer like, hey, this light is a little harsh. Can we do something about it? And they're like, yeah, let's get, some 216 on a frame or whatever from the truck. And I can see like someone just slowly walking out to the truck. I'll be like, hey, I don't think we have time to wait for them. Let's just do a couple takes. And if it makes it here, it makes it here. And I try to kind of like, I'm not being passive aggressive. I'm just being realistic, I think, in saying that I asked you if you could make this slightly better, and your answer was to add something that's going to take 7 minutes. That's too long.
Yeah.
Let's just shoot it.
Yeah.
Just tell me I can do, because when you're the director and you ask for something, people sometimes do it even if it's a bad idea. On my last job, weird story, but someone that we both know actually said to me, "Hey, you know what? My friend's daughter is trying to get her start in the art department. She's amazing. She's worked on these different commercials and things. Do you think you can ever put her name in to get a job?" So I said, "Sure, of course." And this person is like someone that's helped me a lot. And so I sent her name to our production designer. I said, "Hey, I don't know if you have art PAs filled up or not, but here's someone, they come highly recommended, a friend of a friend." And then flash forward.
It's also worth it when you're doing those sorts of endorsements. It's worth it to be able to be clear with like, how is this a person a must hire? It's like, hey, this is my daughter. I want you to find her a job, is different than like, my friend asked me, no pressure,
Well, that's what I said. I said, hey, I don't know if your art PA roster is filled up or not. If not, here's a person that'd be nice to hire. Definitely, I don't want to mess with your flow. Do whatever you want. Anyhow, I got an email back. Yeah, no worries. A week later, my producer calls me and he's like, "Hey, way over budget on art. We have all these issues and we're trying to figure it out. We were trying to cut the crew, but the production designer told me that you told them they have to hire someone, an additional person." And I was like, "What? Are you out of your mind? Like, I did not tell anyone they have to hire anyone. I just sent a name and said, if there's room for a PA, hire them. If not, maybe hire them on your next job." I don't even personally know who they are. It's just like a friend of a friend's daughter. But the producer was like, "Well, look, when the director asks you to hire someone, you do your very best to hire." So my point is that as a director, sometimes you have to, especially on a paid job where everyone's getting paid, it's not an indie project, you have to take into consideration what you're asking for and remember that people might say yes, even if it's a bad idea.
I think also you and I both have the personality type of being explicit with people, of like saying, if this is a bad idea, I want you to tell me, or this isn't a must hire, like clarifying, like, hey, I know that sometimes people think X, Y, or Z. I don't want you to think that about this specific ask,
Yeah.
And it's hard because sometimes it sounds really needy, like you don't want, it sounds people pleasy, but like I will, especially when you have a rapport with people, I'll be like, listen, I will make it clear when this is a firm ask,
right?
When this person is a must hire, or when this is actually important to me, I will make it clear. So when I'm suggesting these things that I could kind of take or leave, and depending on you to say, hey, this hurts your budget in these ways.
Yeah.
Or this is a thing you haven't thought through that's going to affect things in some way.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I try to do, even though it might be kind of subtle, is I'll be like, hey, I don't want to blow the budget on this, but if we can get a few more options for this thing, let me know. If not, I'll choose from the options you showed me, because I don't know how much these things cost, what's returnable, what the labor is to paint this wall or whatever.
Oftentimes things that seem hard to us are totally affordable, and things that seem simple are actually way more complicated, right?
Yeah. The biggest thing, especially in art department, is like you're just not taking labor into consideration.
Labor. Yeah.
Like, what's the big deal? Just go buy 2 scarves. And I'm like, okay, now I have to hire someone.
Yeah.
Pay them. They need a truck. They need this, that, like all those things.
Yeah. Or they're like, we're on set being like, where'd that extra glass go? And it's like, well, so-and-so is on a run right now. So
right, because you asked for this thing.
It's just a bit big of this thing. Going back to the question, though,
of how to hurry people up.
I have often talked about, I have a catchphrase, pencils down. And that means, hey, everyone, I know you could do better. However, we need to shoot. So we're going to shoot. And that is a motivator when people realize like, oh, he means it. We're going to shoot. Yeah.
Can I shadow you one day? Because I want to see if you actually say that phrase.
I 100% do. You can ask anyone. And also, I bring it up early. This is the important thing. I will make light jokes of like, hey, we haven't worked together before. I've got a phrase, pencils down. It means X, it means this. So you guys know, like, we've got 10 more minutes and then we're shooting. And just like when you're a parent and you're raising a toddler, if you set those boundaries, you make it clear, like, hey, I'm going to do this thing that I said I was going to do. And I know that you need 30 more seconds or you need 10 more minutes. I'm going to make that calculated decision and we're going to go. People speed up a little bit because they hate people. Most filmmakers, and by filmmakers, I'm including crew, actors, all people on set, are there because they want to do good work. It's too competitive. It's too hard. It's too strenuous to not be there because you don't love it. So, people get motivated to do good work when they realize like, oh, if I hurry, then I get to do greater work,
Yeah. No, makes sense. Like my dog.
Yeah, for sure. You want to do one last one? Will you just hack you've used to solve a production problem? Do you have one?
I don't weirdest hack, but I have
what's your hack to solve production problems?
I have a different question, but I have a good answer to.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we'll prompt something. So maybe I'll just kind of start with the answer and then it will.
Well, no, let's set it up.
Okay. So the question is, are there any things that you regret not doing on set?
So, Oren, what are the things that you regret not doing on set?
Well, there's 3 things that I want to do on every single shoot that I keep forgetting to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if I say them out loud here on the podcast, maybe I'll remember them in the future. And I should, whenever I get a new producer or work with a producer, I should tell them these things. Number 1, name tags on set is just so insanely helpful.
For real. Do you think they work?
Yes. For me, I don't care if anybody else knows each other's names. I want to know everybody's names. And I do think, I know Greta Gerwig does it, all that stuff.
Logistically, how do you deal with it?
You have production as they're giving out walkie-talkies or whatever, just say, hey, this director likes name tags. This is why I never do it.
Have you done it though?
I've done it not intentionally, but I've been on shoots in places where we have to sign in and because of the location.
Have name tags on there?
Yes. And when you I just shot at the LA Rams facility, everyone had to wear a name tag. I loved it. I know the name of the focus puller, of the best boy grip, of the wardrobe assistant.
I love it in premise. Having done that on my indie feature, you just end up with a bunch of name tags stuck to the carpet.
Oh, feature it's a different thing because you should know the names of everyone by day 3.
Sure.
For me, the problem is it's day 2. I didn't do it on day 1, and it seems so weird to start on day 2 because it's a dead giveaway that you don't know anybody's name.
Yeah.
And it's weird, when it's the sound person that you're talking to all the time or the DIT that you're checking in with, and they all are like, hey, Matt, on day 2 in the morning. And you're like, hey, DIT. So I just name tags. I just wish I did it so it would be instantly become a non-issue. And I love using people's names. I love knowing people's names. I'm a big name person. Number 1 regret that I don't do enough. Number 2 regret is, and this is another stupid one, but I want to have a Bluetooth speaker with an ability to play music on 100%. Every single shoot.
100%.
And I almost never have it.
But is there not a crew member who has it?
Yes, but I don't know their name for starters because they're not wearing a name tag. But I want someone on my team, like the production team or the AD team, to know Oren, this is the vibe of what we're going. Like this, I just did this whole campaign all of last week, 0 dialogue. It's all about kind of movement and a vibe and a feeling. And God, I wish when we were editing today, I was like, I wish I could have just been playing music on set while so the actors could get a sense of the rhythm, because it's literally them just walking around kitchens.
Yeah.
And I wish they walked to a beat as opposed to just walking with no beat.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Say you notice your key grip or your sound guy. Those tend to be the 2 that music ready, right?
Right.
Especially if there's a pre-light day and they ask you, hey, Oren, what should I put on? What do you say?
I guess it depends on the job, but for Tropical Smoothie Cafe, luckily in my pitch for it, I said, we're going to be playing music on set. So production had it ready for me. And I had a bunch of kind of different tropical kind of vibes, like
Harry Belafonte.
Yeah, Harry Belafonte, or just the type of music you would hear at a resort, like when hanging out in a lounge. A lot of conga drums, kind of, not so much the pan flutes, but just fun rhythmic, lady of Ipanema.
The girl from Ipanema.
The girl from Ipanema, or Dave Brubeck, kind of jazzy, kind of hangout music. But it depends, on this shoot I just had last week, it would be probably a little more hip hop horns, like a Mark Ronson type of vibe or a Macklemore. But yeah, so to me, it's not about like, hey, the crew should be having fun hanging out to music. It's about infusing a tone and a vibe into the performance and the choreography and the rhythm of the camera movement and stuff. That now I'm just like halfway through shooting, I'm like, yeah, man, this would be really easy if there's some music playing. So that's the second thing that I always regret not doing. And the third thing, and you could probably relate to this, but you should always just do a recording, clean sound recording of all the lines, wild lines, I'd say like at least 50% of the time I need just like a clean version of one line of dialogue that I didn't get. Now, with today's AI tools, it's a little easier to...
Do you mean because like action is muffling it, or like there's...
Yeah, the lava fell down, there's music in the background, someone's putting a plate down on a line, something, they're saying the line wrong, the enunciation, the essence, the sibilance, the microphone. I don't know. It's just like, it takes... You don't even need to be there. You could just send an actor with a sound person, just, hey, can you just read the script the way you did it on set?
I think you just do it on set. You just make it, like, if we're holding for hometown, get wild lines.
Yeah, but sometimes, it can take like 45 minutes. Depends on how many. You just shot like 4 spots and you want 4 versions of each line, and there's alt and all that stuff. But yeah, so those are the 3 things that I wish I did on every shoot and forget to do on almost every shoot.
Yeah, that's great. Well,
do you have anything that you do on shoots that you just forget to?
I like the music thing. I like the not stuff that I'm really kicking myself for.
Like, what are the things you're in the edit and you're like, I wish I did this differently? Is there any...
There's always a faster take and a silent take. Yeah, I always want a fast take, and I always want just like a reactions take. Like, just like do it non-verbally. But I tend to be pretty good about knowing to ask for that. And also, I haven't been in the edit in a minute. I've got the last couple jobs, I'm like, I wonder how those edits turned out. I haven't seen them yet. And I'm like I sent them my notes and paper edits, and then that's that.
Today I was in the edit suite, and I was like, it's a 3-day edit. And at the end of the day, I asked the agency producer, I was like, is it cool if I come back tomorrow? I know I was here on day 1. I kind of just like inserted myself here. And she was like, yeah, no, everyone seems to like enjoy you here. But trust me, I would tell you if you weren't welcome, because there are some shoots where we really just don't want to hear from the director.
Yeah. I haven't heard a thing on the last couple, and I think I'm pretty well liked. So I think it's more just
sometimes the schedule just doesn't make sense for it.
Yeah.
Or if it's never going to go on your reel, why even spend the time to do it?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so Matt, thanks for chatting about some common questions that we heard from the internet. We'd love to hear, if anyone listening to this episode, if you found this valuable at all.
Yeah.
Or if it was a little too all over the place.
Yeah.
To me, it's not all over the place. I just wonder if it's a little too, like, not specific, vague.
What's little broad, maybe, is what you're looking for. Yeah. I think also, I wonder if these will work as insular pieces of content, or if there's too much crosstalk and rambling for it to work in anything besides a long form podcast. We'll find out.
Yeah. I just wonder, I always find the best stories are ones that are related to a specific experience, the best lessons.
Yes, I think that's true. I think that there will be a stark difference between how these do on TikTok and Instagram.
You think they'll do better on TikTok?
I think they will absolutely do better on TikTok.
Where people are just looking for quick tips.
No. Where the algorithm is feeding you quick tips based off of what you are already curious about.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Whereas Instagram is far more follower based. So like the stuff, we'll see. We're recording this September 9th, everyone. Our Cat Coiro episode just came out, and I feel like the social clips were really some of our strongest. They felt like they had like complete ideas, and also made you curious about the rest of the episode, and compelled you to think like, oh, if this is really good, I bet I would like the rest of it. I bet that those hit on Instagram more than they do TikTok.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Well, yeah, if you have any questions, please email us at justshootitpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of this format. You can also DM us on Instagram or at justshootitpod. But before we sign off, Matt, do you have just a few minutes left to endorse something with me?
I do indeed.
Unpaid endorsements.
I think that it is utterly delicious and fine for an adult to drink milk as long as it is whole milk.
Why does it matter what the milk is?
Because when was the last time you had whole milk, like full fat milk, like just straight up milk?
Like not putting it in coffee?
Not putting it in coffee.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I've sipped some. My kids.
Not 2%. Do your kids drink whole milk, or do they drink?
Not at home, but like at a Chipotle or something, maybe they would get a milk. Or
most of the
school.
time you're getting skim, 2%, all of that stuff. And the difference is insane.
In the flavor?
In the flavor, in the richness, everything about whole milk is better. Whole milk is like real, like it's milk, and all of that other stuff is just kind of like filtered white water. It's pretty gross. So that's my endorsement. Try some whole milk next time you have a chance. Don't go crazy. You don't need to drink a full glass of milk. But I had like an espresso cup with my daughter as we had like a cookie or something. Or no, we had peanut butter toast the other day, and it was incredible.
Why do you even have whole milk in your house?
Because my doctor said, don't bother getting the other stuff. Feed your kid whole milk.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because it's better for her. Like she doesn't have like a high fat diet. So it's like not a big deal.
Okay. My kids don't even really drink milk. I don't know. What kind of doctor is telling you your kid needs to drink cow milk?
Like a full regular old doctor. She was like, don't bother with like soy milk or oat milk or any of that stuff. All that stuff is empty calories for sure. It was a conversation because we're vegetarian basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, hey, I'll give you the real on like animal products basically. And she was like, yeah, drink whole milk. Drink the fortified stuff even. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Very interesting endorsement.
And it was truly delicious. Yeah.
Oh.
So next time you're over, Oren, I'll give you a little whole milk.
I've had whole milk many times.
I honestly, I'm not sure that I have.
Half and half in my coffee. And whenever I'm traveling, I have to make it myself because they don't have half and half in other
I guess
countries.
I'm just rediscovering dairy is what I drink black coffee, like, yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, all I drank was milk. I was only, because I never drank soda.
But it was probably skim, right?
I don't think so. I mean, I grew up in a different country.
Oh, that's true.
But anyhow, great endorsement. Thank you for the cows of America.
Don't at me, vegans. I'm sorry, guys.
My endorsement is probably going to be a short-lived one. It's just a new thing I've figured out to do with AI, which is, did I tell you that I was like making lower thirds with Midjourney, like motion graphics?
Maybe. No, I don't think so, actually.
Yeah. So I was working on an edit and we needed some like kind of whimsical lower thirds. So in Midjourney, I just, now there's video in there. So I just, made a bunch of different options for lower thirds. And for those of you who don't know, lower third is basically a label with the name and sometimes a subheading of who's speaking on screen. I asked Midjourney to generate it on a black background so that I can just easily cut it out. And I think I might have done some on like a green background too, just so I can like key it. And then I animated them. So you can ask it to animate it and describe the animation. So I had described how I wanted to animate it in. And I don't think it's like going to make it for the final product, but like as a nice temp animated motion graphics, pretty good. And I know people are using like Nano Banana and stuff, the new Google image generator, to create like really, really pretty nice looking motion graphics and animating them. And I don't know that any of these video generators can make alpha channels, transparent video. So you kind of always have to do some sort of trick, either making them on black backgrounds or on green keyable backgrounds. But it's kind of a fun thing to do. I also made I wanted this animation where this woman has kind of this magical dust coming off of her. And I just did that with Midjourney on a black background, and then you use it in screen mode in your editing software and adds kind of magical dust to things. So I'm finding some interesting uses for like overlays and visual effects and things.
That's interesting. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Anyhow, if you've got any endorsements, we would love to hear from you. Ideally, you'll tell them to us in person on October 8th.
That's right.
At Lawless.
Like there are no laws in this land.
At Lawless in North Hollywood at our event, events.justshootitpod.com. But if you can't make it, you can email us at justshootitpod@gmail.com. You can find us across all social media at justshootitpod. I'm on Instagram at okaplan.
And I'm at Mr. Matt Emlo across all social media. This episode was edited by Kevin O. Yang. Thanks, Kevin. Our social media is done by Lily Bouvier, and this is produced by Tyler Small. You're listening to music provided by the Free Music Archive and the artist Jazar. Thanks everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.